You know what? They deserve to go famous. The wow 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 wow. Hello and meowdy YouTube! We are back with another casual geographic video. This one is how this became the most disrespected animal of 2025. As you guys know, hi, hello, if you're new here, I did study biology. I've worked with animals. I've worked with wild animals. I love animals as well. So I'm super excited to share my passion with you. I'm super excited to learn alongside you. And let's dive on into the video.
Just some BS with fur. Default map. Bro is just a template thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Just a random effing thing. Login reward. This might be the worst one.
Login reward is crazy. Now that one is crazy. That one is crazy.
The internet decided to have a cultural campfire. Instead of roasting marshmallows, Nature's Untitled Project got flamed with every way to say they're easy to draw. Straight bullying a beta test. You got folks saying we never officially discovered this mammal until someone went into a pet store and asked for an animal. John Mammal, they're calling him. They're slandering the life out of my guy. I gotta say something. Especially with his big homie on my chest. This potato vampire is a Hyrax, and they did not evolve for
How do we all love capybaras, but we don't like Hyrax? Have you seen a capybara? Like, that thing isn't real either, but how are we slandering one and loving the other?
50 million years just to get called a furry template. Bro is literally in the Bible, especially when the imitation bunny's closest relatives are elephants, which everyone loves, and manatees, which laws had to stop people from loving. The same animal folks are calling the first interaction in a tutorial is cousins with the most iconic animal on Earth. But it's not like there aren't signs. Hyraxes have the same tusks for fighting and female validation, although the bar for impressive is lower than their balls are, because having an internal coin purse is another thing they have in common. To be fair, Hyraxes have a lot in common with a lot of animals.
Are you guys learning yet? Are you guys learning? Are we learning? Yeah, we're learning. We're learning so hard right now.
Count him out. If conversion eats two roads, that boy's a roundabout. Done stole so many animals' flow. If this were a Pokemon, he'd be Plagiario. They took the elephant's tusk and toes. They have a jaw you'd expect on a rhinoceros. A Pika plus build with marmot for measure. But only one reps the rodent varsity sweater. It's a miscellaneous mammal nature uploaded at the last moment. They're such trash thermal regulators, they're more reptile than rodent.
I love how he's just taking the attributes. He's like, yoink! He's yoinking them.
Partially cold-blooded concept, most of the Hyrax's energy comes from charging in the sun, giving it the same pastime as the Viscacha. But they're less efficient than the Sensei gerbil. Where Viscachas may spend a quarter of their time sunbathing, this sentient 1159 project submission has about 5% of its life when it's not just sitting idly. Hyraxes inherited the koala problem, but at least koalas have the excuse of poor diet. Nature greenlit the mammal version of batteries sold separately. They didn't ask for any of this, yet the internet has been cooking them like they come with XP. When obviously this organism dies and offers zero, which isn't—
okay. When is the internet not roasting a weird looking animal though? I feel like the internet either really loves an animal, or the minute the animal is slightly weird looking, it just gets roasted to pieces.
It's just outrageous slander for an animal name dropped in the holy book and whose poop has been used in perfumes. It just shows you how fast the internet will turn on you. Seems like just yesterday people were hyping up the Hyrax, making them viral every time they made a sound, just to today act like they haven't been around. There's so much more that meets the eye with the organism of all time. Like the fact this template has 6 different types. You got the rock Hyrax, the most common and iconic of the Raxes. Although being the most iconic of an animal called a placeholder is like winning prom queen of a homeschool. Just know that if you see a Duzzy on your feed, it's probably a rock Hyrax. And these Rockies have enough clout to be the VIP member of the Brocavia Hyrax genus, but only because they're the only living member of it. There's 3 Hyrax genuses, and Hetero Hyrax is home to the Bush Hyrax. You're forgiven if you can't tell them apart.
Look at them. Look at them. Look at these two similar beasts. They're absolute tools. I think we should all love Hyrax. I think they should become our favorite animal in chat. Guys, I'm just saying, put them in your top 5 list. They deserve it.
Xerox to Xerox, it's not your fault. The Bushrax looks like it tried to implement the same mask method to farm empathy, but like everything else, it was a poor imitation. They're smaller than rock Hyraxes, but again, no hard feelings if you can't differentiate. The chances I mixed up the pictures in this section are lower than the chances someone's gonna care enough to notice. But the Bushrax's defining trait is that their distress skin basically define the entire species.
I said look at me. You're becoming famous on the internet because of me, so try and show a little appreciation. Okay.
I love it.
That's the Awawa.
I love it. You know what? They deserve to go famous. The wow wow is iconic. I can't do it because I'm not one of these animals, but That's one of the most iconic things ever. Their noise is good.
And he's telling you to make like Michael Jackson and beat it. And the third genus is Dendrohyrax, which actually has 4 species: the southern, eastern, western, and the Benin tree hyrax. Same ideas, different
They look
font.
different.
The western looks like he's seen some shit, and chances are it was his reflection. It's the only hyrax that looks like it has to be held back, because he decided he'd rather look like a boar than be one. The eastern tree hyrax looks like the shiny Pokemon of the bunch, and they're a regular part of the diets of leopards, eagles, and pythons. They're just the part that says etc. The southern tree hyrax is interesting in that it'll rapidly bounce on the ground to travel when excited.
He doesn't even look like he's agile. Like, I know he's part of the tree and I know he lives in the tree, but just watching him climb onto the branch he does not look like he's agile. Like, he does not look like he's built for these trees.
Which is what you're looking at right now, so long as someone cared enough to record it. Now, they say their status is of least concern, but I'd say their blood-curdling night screams are mildly concerning.
That's terrifying.
Speaking of scream, the last member is the Benin tree hyrax, and I say that because they were discovered in 2021, and it was because of their scream. You see, scientists who weren't even checking for them, they were looking for bush babies. That's a bush baby, but heard enough of this weird barking sound that they eventually isolated and studied it, and these sounds were so distinctive.
Imagine being like a scientist way back yonder, because now we have a lot. We're still discovering new species. Like, we know a lot of the species and a lot of these species who are making the noise. But imagine being a scientist way back yonder, just going out into the forest and hearing all these noises that you don't know what they are. You're like, oh yeah, I hear this weird blood-curdling scream, just to find out that it's this little guy. Like, you probably think it's something like more ferocious.
They realized it came from an entirely different species. Mind you, they clocked these calls back in 2009, but the Benin wasn't identified until over a decade later. Imagine screaming for attention for years only to be discovered by accident by people looking for someone else. And apparently, Benin skulls were already in scientists' possession, but they never noticed because, in their words, they just assumed they were all the same. Best believe Hyraxes wouldn't be getting this level of disrespect back in the day, because Titanohyrax ultimus would have been big enough to maul a rhino.
Oh, he a big boy. Back with the megafauna. He a big boy.
But Hyrax Ultimus Prime died out and left us with a miscellaneous tater tot. And miscellaneous is the best way to describe the family. Hyraxes are part of the Afroteria reunion, and you couldn't pick out a more random assortment of characters on a 3 a.m. gas station line. You obviously have the Hyrax and the elephant, along with a group certain people confuse for mermaids, the manatee and dugong.
This is a wild family line. Yeah, this little guy related to the elephant, similar to the manatee. Crazy.
Or just the sea cows. But you also have my 4th grade fixation, the aardvark, the elephant shrew,
He's
which
also
is actually
in
more
here, the
elephant than
aardvark?
shrew. In fact, not even a true shrew. The golden mole, which isn't a true mole. In fact, underground and undercover makes it more of a mole. The otter shrew, which is nary a true shrew, but what else is new? And the tenric,
Well,
which
look
is a
at
hedgehog
him.
nature tried redrawing from memory.
The only mammals that use stridulation to make sounds. Think of crickets and cicadas. I did not know that. Wait, so you got lore too? Oh, that's really cool.
Now, the non-evolution folk might have an argument, because how do you explain this sober? Well, I'ma try. You see, 2 things happened. One was the dinosaur stranglehold on the world was released when a mountain-sized meteoric plot device blew their shit smooth off the census. In Space Jam terms, the Monstars took a crowbar to the knee and hedge trimmers to the Achilles, allowing the smaller mammalian Looney Tunes to really get on the board. But the other domino fell long before, with Africa separating from the supercontinent of Gondwana, completely isolated until she eventually crashed into Eurasia. Yeah. I'm not 100% on the dates, but that's still tens of millions of years Africa spent as a massive island. And with an even bigger dinosaur-sized niche left behind, the mammals on it got to work. Think of Australia. You got a max security prison deer, an actual sloth bear, hijos de satanas, and many.
Okay, yeah, we don't talk about Australia though. We know Australia is just a pot of everything going on down there, right? We already know that. If you've been on my channel, we've already done like the big tunnel dive into the Australian wildlife. We know that whole place is just question marks.
Many more, and they're all marsupials. Because marsupials were all the Australian island had, and those niches were going to be filled somehow. But my favorite example is the fact that Madagascar had no apex big cat predator. So a steroid mongoose took the spot. What you saw with Marsupial Mafia in the Afro Order was adaptive radiation, where a single common ancestor diversified to occupy all the sudden vacancies. And Afroteria diversified into straight nonsense. Basically, it was the gang let's split up of evolution. And you can only imagine the reaction the Hyrax got at the reunion.
Nah, the gang let's split up. Guys, we need to cover all grounds. We need to split up. We need to have one of us in every single section we can. Time to split up.
reaction the Hyrax got at the reunion. I'm sure Titano Hyrax tried their best at the big men's game, but getting outcompeted by those that played the big boy build better had the remaining Hyrax.
Holy moly, holy moly. That's just crazy. Crazy, I think. Crazy. I love how they're literally covering every ground that they can.
Hyrax is living in the woodworks like rodents. But you'd expect an imitation rat to belong with the not a shrew, not a mole, and nature's left-handed hedgehog in clade Afro-insectophilia. But nah, the Hyrax got cast in a penungulata portion. Penungulata. Basically almost ungulates. Ungulates are the many animals that walk on hooves. Yes, that's a whale. The hippo must have gave him a guest pass. Having almost hooves means elephants and sea cows have toenails. So does a Hyrax. Not a hoof, but close. They also have the same tusks that were just pimped out incisors. But Hyraxes chew like they were raised by ruminants, chewing from side to side to grind it out like a giraffe. You might not have noticed because Hyraxes do it so fast. And when's the last time you looked a Hyrax in the mouth? Because you might have noticed they look like they have tiny rhino skulls augmented into their heads. So you see, the animal Twitter called just a random thing is actually the peak form for the life they live, from the size to the teeth to the toes. Speaking of toes, down boy, those beans have a purpose, and rubbery soles with a concave surface creates a suction cup that's a cheat code for gripping rocks.
Oh, cool.
It's how Raxes can go goat and climb vertical surfaces. It's also how Hyraxes literally climb into our lives. Hyraxes have the habit of hitching rides where nature had not intended. Bro,
you're telling me you hitch a ride on a turtle or tortoise? My bad. Of everything that you can hitch a ride on, you hitch a ride on a tortoise? What?
In addition to being capybara copyright infringement, it should be no surprise to see the animal someone called the Nepo hire of its family being hard carried by something else.
Yeah,
They've also started scoring free rides on something slightly faster than a tortoise. There's a genuine trend of South Africans finding their cars colonized by desis. Apparently the underside of a car is like a wet dream to a crevice merchant, and people have accidentally Ubered this stowaway across South Africa. And like clockwork, they often don't get noticed.
Imagine getting in your car and just finding one of them. I guess you could get in your car and find a lot of things.
They start screaming, or the smell of their excess alerts you. One Hyrax spent 4 days as an undercarriage carry-on after joining a family's 2.5-hour trip from Cedarburg to Worcester. Another family came home from vacation to find 4 of them splunking in their car engine. And you can't just evict them when you find them, because desis are highly territorial, and getting spawned on enemy grounds will get them murked by the residents. According to the Cape of Good Hope SPCA, if you find a Hyrax up your chassis, you do not attempt to remove, or else they might show you what that tusk do. Best thing you can do is bait them out with like peanut butter or something.
Bait them out.
Wait for your local SPCA to come handle it. But even then, you probably don't want to take matters in your own hands. Not only because you have no way of knowing when or where the Hyrax hopped on, there's a non-zero chance he doesn't just abandon your car and immediately head for the next one over, just transferring the problem to someone else. Truly the best way to help a Hyrax is to check your car for them before you head out. It's not much different from checking for stray cats under the hood during the cold times, which, if you're on the East Coast, is right now. Pray for me, I am so sick right now. So I wouldn't blame you for thinking Hyraxes spawned into our lives out of nowhere. But it's not always by accident. I swear I liked one video. Okay,
but they're trending right now, right? They're trending, they're a trending animal. So you like one video, you're gonna get them all, because they are a trending animal.
And now I get videos of this hamster homunculi in people's houses. I had no idea they were so common as pets. Or legal. Legality aside, Hyraxes are about as good of pets as you'd expect from a travel-sized rodaceous elephant. Which is not at all. They're highly social and territorial. They'll hate your house and you'll hate what they do to it.
I feel a lot of people, I'm not gonna lie, I feel a lot of people shouldn't have pets. Sometimes they should have them. I know he looks cute, I know he's tiny, but he's still an exotic animal and you probably shouldn't have him in your house.
With their bathroom habits, which I'm gonna get into, just know you will not get that smell out. But humans weren't even the first primates to try to turn a Hyrax to a house pet.
Oh, shit.
You remember the Hyrax jump scare that is the Western variety? Well, there's someone that thinks this weremole is cute. Chimpanzees have shown a strangely genuine curiosity in this hunk of fur. In 1995, researchers came across a group of chimps surrounding a Hyrax that had fallen out of a tree, and other than one male slapping the ground as a display and another one poking it with a stick, they just watched it. Until they eventually lost interest and just left them alone.
Crazy.
To be fair, less than 5% of a chimp's diet is meat, but I've seen chimps do raccoons dirty for existing. They also hunt bush babies, but somehow a Hyrax gets a pass. In 2016, scientists clocked a male chimp with a past tense Hyrax, and I swear from the way they describe it, He was treating it like a doll, seemingly grooming it, even blowing on its hair, and no, he didn't even eat it in the end. But the weirdest case might have been in 2000, when a female chimp adopted one for a day. She carried it around, groomed it, and even spent the night in her nest with it, and spent a total of 15 hours cradling it. And while the Hyrax was already dead, it wasn't by her effort. I know I'm not supposed to anthropomorphize, but again, I've seen these same apes do Diagers grizzly. So you're gonna—
That's kind of the thing. So they take their both those scenarios, they were a past life Hyrax, but they're still taking them in and caring for them. And like you said, you don't know if it's like because they're caring for him for whatever reason. They have their reasons. But for it to be documented multiple times, it's like a suspicion that is raised. And it's like, oh, so why? Why? The why factor comes into play here.
To convince me Caesar and them don't find him cute. But again, you wouldn't really want a Hyrax as a pet. One, because their social structures are way too complex. I was not kidding when I said leaving a stowaway on foreign turf is like putting a prison green light on them. In a Wawa of up to 80 Hyraxes, the highest Rax is a territorial Himrax that lords over the females, their young, and any younger males not yet seen as a threat. And it's usually this top male that's responsible for sentry duty, basically acting as a lifeguard while the others feed and blaring out an alarm call if he sees a threat like an eagle, which gets all the Hyraxes to hightail it. Not only is it uber effective against predators, it's the same way meerkats manner. But when you look like a hodgepodge of other animals' homework, you get no show on how Hyraxes happen. I'd watch it because the drama would go crazy. Those tusks are for more than just attracting mates. You wouldn't know.
It's the Love Island but Hyrax incoming live reality TV show with the Hyrax.
But these Hyraxes are fighting for their lives, and those teeths can tear each other apart and
like
more
their
than
teeth.
barely inconvenience you. Running fades is such a risk that Hyraxes have ways to avoid conflict. The main one is by breaking into song. I'm not even kidding, the same way gorillas beat their chest to advertise size and avoid fights, male Hyraxes do by singing, and studies have proven that they'll increase their audible output when there's more stranger neighbor Raxes around, which sometimes the strangers respond to. It's their version of a diss track, and they take the craft seriously, because it's also been proven that Hyraxes that sing the most and maintain the best rhythm go on to father the most successful offspring.
So it's he said earlier too that they're territorial, so it makes sense they create noise to warn, right? Bro, who knew? Who knew? Look, we dive into this little guy. Who knew it would get so complicated out here?
Love the internet because there's no other way I'd know this, but it's why male Hyraxes sing all year around, and unlike most other animals, they sing as a solo. But they also sing unlike almost any other mammal. Hyraxes sing with syntax, and in casual terms, it means the sounds they sing and the order they sing them in aren't random. They're actually specifically structured, with each note purposely sequenced like lyrics. That's something you normally see with birds, and other than whales, bats, and some primates, the Hyrax is the only mammal found to do this.
Cool.
Which means it's not a stretch to say they have way more complex a language than anyone ever gave them credit for. Especially since Hyrax hymns can go on for minutes, and songs even have specific regional dialects. Just an effing thing. I think not. Especially since they have a social network we've never seen in another animal, but in humans. Studies show that Hyraxes subscribe to the friend of my friend is my friend rule, and they'll spread
You know what the sad thing is? And this is really sad. People probably underestimate this or undermine him too. They're going to classify him as this little stupid rodent because a lot of people don't like these little creatures. I don't know why you don't like these little creatures, but a lot of people don't like little creatures like this, and they just generalize them into like one specific category, and then from there like they don't want to learn anything about them, which is kind of sad to think because like we're watching this video, and the more we learn about the Hyrax, the more intriguing and interesting he is as an animal, as a mammal. And it's kind of sad that a lot of people doubt these smaller species of mammals. Like a lot of people just don't think a small species of mammal is smart, and a lot of people just see them as like cute little mammal that doesn't know anything. And it's kind of sad to think because like I said, as we're watching this video, we can actually learn how intelligent they are and how these have these like such defined structures and social like able ways to communicate and stuff like that.
Social ties in a way that creates overall social balance. Not only do Hyraxes living like egalitarians live longer and better, it's actually the Hyrax that was the first non-human animal to be seen with this kind of social structural balance. Yeah, the Awawa did that. Like they'll use the friend of a friend concept to create calculated trios, and it's proven that Hyrax groups that do this on a large scale are way more chill and see way less aggression. It's also why I said airdropping one into a new hood is assisted census subtraction, because newcomers immediately invite instability. Although complex social order makes a lot of sense, because Hyraxes have a lot going for them. Keeping themselves warm enough to stay alive ain't one of them. Nature kind of screwed them there, so they spend 95% of their time either resting or basking. They're damn near solar powered. They'll also use the Tetris method to stay warm, and when you need cuddle time to survive, it's best to know who your friends are.
That's
so yeah,
awesome.
there's a lot more to the Hyrax than being the elephant's understudy. They got their fingerprints in history. Well, not their fingers. Animals dragging assets on the ground is nothing new, but recently, the first known fossil of one butt scooting was uncovered from over 120,000 years ago, and that autograph belonged to, their butts tell us a lot more about the past, and it is because of their bathroom habits. See, I told you we were gonna get to that, just had to learn something first. Hyraxes all produce in the same place, in these latrines called middens, and while it's another reason why you wouldn't want one in your house, they've actually graffitied entire cliffs with their calcium carbonate pee, because they pee in one spot and they pee a whole lot. But generations of dropping deuces in the same spot means middens are stockpiled with hyracium, their dried excess. And this hyracium is like the less aesthetic version of amber. But the substance with erase in its name does the exact opposite to history. Studying the poop piles can tell you a lot about the past by preserving time in a way built to last, with some of these middens going back 70,000 years.
That's wild. Bro, that's so cool. What a nifty discovery.
Hyraxes crap time capsules and fix your face, because that's not the only use we get out of them. Because yeah, Hyrax poop has been traditionally used as perfume. It's not super common today, but I'd love for someone to comment and tell me what it smells like. That same hyracium has also been used in traditional medicines to treat issues like epilepsy. Are you now seeing how lousy the internet's doing this animal? They are so much more than a filler character on Noah's Ark.
Yeah, they
you don't
are
even have to
so
care
much
about
more.
them. But if you care about the Arabian leopard, one of the closest to being discontinued cats, then you should probably know that a big part of their diet is the racks. I feel bad for them. Being this weird of an animal just to be called a bare minimum's gotta be a kick in the balls. Good thing theirs are on the inside. And that's gonna do it for this video. Drink water, hug your mother, Patreon plug, you probably heard that before. Book plug, you've definitely heard that before. Spread the Awawa word, and I'ma see y'all in the next one.
Bye! Well, that was a fantastic video. I thought it was a fantastic video. Look at the little guys. They're so cute. That wraps up this video, though, for you guys here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, it's unfortunate. A lot of people do undermine rodents, per se, right? A lot of people, like, see a rodent and they're like, ew, it's a rodent. And then they don't like rodents. And I'm not even classifying this as a rodent, right? But I'm just saying that this is like a generalization thing. They see these little animals. It doesn't have to be a rodent. Same thing with like a lizard. People don't like lizards as well. Another small little creatures. I find this so fascinating, and I hope more people, as they watch YouTube videos like this, as they watch and discover, they also open their eyes and realize that yes, all these little intricate animals, all these little tiny animals have really cool structures on how they live, and they're all pretty unique. And I hope this opens your eyes more to seeing them and like accepting them. Like every single animal is an amazing animal. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment down the mountain emoji or the word mountain if you made it all the way to the end of this video. And I will catch you guys all on the flip side. Goodbye, YouTube.